Hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Giselle and I'm trying out an interesting experiment which will involve myself, The Sims, and parallel realities. Last time I explained the difference between the law of attraction and the law of assumption and how Schrodinger's cat might unfortunately be dead, at least in some realities. So let's dive in and meet our guinea pig sim. For privacy's sake, I have given my sim self the fake surname Cat. Don't worry, we'll eventually even give her a real fur baby. Well, as real as it can get in game, but you know what I mean. Not for now, though. For now, I created Giselle in The Sims 4, including a few outfits that I would actually wear myself, and given her my same likes, dislikes, and character traits. Well, not all of them, because in TS4 I've been limited to 50 likes and dislikes, and also only 3 character traits, which obviously I'm sure I'm much more than a cat lover, uh, an erratic person who talks to herself, and a person who admires paintings. But for the sake of this experiment, it will have to suffice, at least for now. Then we'll see. My sim has no partner or children, unlike in real life, because firstly, I am totally unable to create sims that look like their real life counterparts, and also because we cannot afford, for the sake of this experiment, to have to babysit also other people in the household. Giselle will be too busy creating her reality and experimenting with the law of assumption, and we cannot deviate from the real scope here. If the game allowed me to set a preference, I would choose for my sim to be a minimalist. So I have put her on an empty lot in Brindleton Bay, which would be the kind of pleasant town I would choose in real life to live in, and I've built for her a tiny lot there. I mean, a tiny house on the lot. And if you play The Sims and have the tiny living pack, you know that choosing the tiny lot preference is going to give our sim some perks. This is also part of my experiment, as you will see later on in the series. So for now, she has no tumble dryer, only one old bookcase in the front room, and I had to ensure that I had enough funds left over after building to get her a laptop. As you can see, her first autonomous reaction was to the bookcase, though I am not sure whether it was a reaction to the furniture style or the books themselves. The first thing I did after that was to give her a job. Harsh, but well, this is an experiment in reality. With no skills yet, and traits that hardly help unless you want to work in a cat sanctuary, else become a painter, which, let's face it, if this were real life, for the vast majority of people, they have an assumption that art won't pay as a job. And although our sim will start um, rejecting assumptions and changing them as we go, for now, her current self does not believe that she could make money as a new artist, because I mean, she doesn't even have the skill yet. So what I did was give her a realistic set of 2 options. She could either join the business career or become a salary person. I have a measure of qualifications and experience in real life in what is termed as the business career in The Sims, so I opted for that one. At least it sounds, from the descriptions, a little less soul killing than the other one. So then I started her immediately on her homework to advance in the career, but I remembered that I should also be getting her groceries. Realism demands that the simple living trade be on for the lot, and so groceries were the only way for her to acquire food. And this is where it started to get tricky and interesting. What would she buy? Given my allergies and intolerances, I have currently quite a limited diet. It's mostly a carnivore diet with a few particular fruits and veg added on, and just a little bit of sugar allowed to be able to take a dessert or a cookie with my tea, but not much else. So I had her buy exactly what I would have in real life. Lilith Pleasant turned up as the grocery delivery girl in this save, and after taking in the groceries, my sim, in pure ADD fashion, decided to go watch TV instead of continuing on her homework. I don't blame her, but I did have to send her back to continue working on the laptop. At this point, it dawned on me that I had chosen a family aspiration, being Giselle. However, since she was going to be very much alone for this experiment, my sim would have been better off exploring some other dreams. I debated between the fabulously wealthy and mansion baron. Yes, I love tiny homes. I also love grand palaces and Downton Abbey living. I am erratic after all. I went for the least exhausting option of fabulously wealthy, only to remember that her extra trait would come from the aspiration chosen at the start, and so my sim would still have the domestic trait, rather than, I believe, the business savvy one. But let's not dwell on that. After all, once the experiment is over, she will still be the same age since I have set her to aging off, and she can go on to have her happy family off screen. For some reason, my sim started trolling the forums, even though that makes no sense to my character and my hate for mischief. However, I was more concerned about two other things. It was raining, and my sim had no tumble dryer. Thankfully, she had yet to accumulate laundry. And the other issue, much more imminent, was to do with food and cooking. All my carefully chosen food items apparently couldn't make one decent meal unless I had more cooking skill, which I don't in real life, to be truthful. My only option was to make a big fruit salad from 3 pieces of berries that I had bought. Berries seem scarce to buy in my game, so I reluctantly decided I would have to garden and get homegrown berries in the long run. I also took another decision. When I play the game for fun, I don't stick to one aspiration. At this point, I realized that it was actually more realistic this way. I mean, we learn all kinds of skills as we go, and we are not necessarily only advancing in one area of life at a time. So you will be seeing me changing the aspirations and gaining points from various ones as I go. I made her put her prepared meal in the fridge because she wasn't yet hungry enough to warrant a portion. I also had to get her a cookbook to help her skill up so that she would be able to cook her meats and fish. That's it for today from our sim. Please, if you like this, like and subscribe, and follow me in the next episode where Giselle, our sim, is going to start having to make some choices that will affect her life, or rather, her parallel lives.